Hello, friends. Stacy Anfinson here with your Tar Report market update for June of 2025. Let's dig in and see what happened during the month. A couple scary headlines to start off. I think it's important to go over these things because we're not in a bubble here. Yes, things are good here compared to everything else, but I think it's important to kind of go over these things and let you know what's going on. So FHFA, Federal Housing Finance Authority, they keep track of U.S. house prices on a repeat sales basis. In May, they fell 1% compared to April. Fannie Mae's survey of potential home buyers indicates 71% think it's a bad time to buy. That's the highest percentage since they've been keeping it. Both the NAR pending home sale index and national sales indexes are down in June. National Wells Fargo Housing Market Index reports that 38% of builders cut price since 2022. And NAR reports supply of housing at 4.7 months. So those are scary, but pay attention to the rest of this. You will see that a lot of our metrics are better than what's going on nationally. So for that, we should be thankful. All right, inventory metrics, going back to 2007, 62% compared to June of this year versus June of last year is a big number. But if you look up here, it's down 49% compared to where we were in June of 2010. And obviously, we talked before, the population has increased since that time. Price dropping listings, this is where we do not compare favorably. I do not view this as a negative, though, because if nobody changed prices, we'd have a stuck market. So 49% in June of this year, that's the highest in the period that you see. 21% nationally house prices, and 38% of new home builders have dropped prices. June sold listings up 6% compared to where we were last year. That's great. And that's one of the things we'll talk about at the end. Obviously, the peak in 2021, which was influenced by historically low interest rates. Not sure if we're going to get back to that anytime soon. But if you go back to the periods between 2008 and 2013, you can see June of this year compared very favorably with June in those years. Months of housing supply, again, this is a graph I just changed the month name on, and it's pretty much the same thing. June's the 13th straight month of June with an undersupply of housing, which is the foundation for our house price metric increases. Again, days on market compare favorably June of this year compared to where they were over this long period going back to 2006. The average is 63. Comparing that, we're at 42. Yes, comparing 2022 with this year, yeah, that's a 30-day increase. But if you look historically at the month of June, 42 is still very, very favorable. Talk about something different this time. I've been doing this a long time. There historically has been a premium that buyers pay for new homes compared to resale. So I'm going to give you 3 slides right now that's kind of show you that this is flipped a bit. First one we're going to do is we're going to compare the average list price of new construction versus the average sales price of a resale. You can see going back to the left side of this, the percentages were about 30% and higher that buyers would pay for new homes versus resales. But if you go from 2021 all the way down to 2025, you can see that delta is trending downward. Now, the other thing we're going to do is we're going to compare the average sales price of new construction versus the average sales price of a resale. Once again, you go back to 2019 and 2020, it's a double-digit premium that buyers were paying for new homes. But look what's happened to the last 2 years, 7%. Now, new homes are selling less than resales, and 10% in this year. Nationally, during the second quarter of 2025, there was a 4% discount new home compared to resale, and we'll explain that at the end of this. And then the last thing we'll look at is we're going to compare detached versus SFR housing as it's declared nationally and locally. So this kind of gets townhouses out of the mix. As you know, around here, our land's gotten very expensive. So therefore, builders are building more townhouses than they've built before. So that kind of skews the average metrics for new home prices. So once again, go back to 2019 and 2020. If you compare those two, double-digit premium that buyers are paying for new construction, a little blip in 2021 and 2022. I think that's influenced by COVID and new home builders not really being able to get product out of the ground out of that. But if you look going from 2023 and especially the last 2 years, 2024 and 2025, it's flipped in terms of resale housing selling for more than new homes on a SFR basis. So we'll talk about that, the reason for that at the end. Monthly PI payment again, once again, we're upward, 36.18 in June of this year, but it's below May of where it was last year, and just slightly below where it was June of last year. Now, this is an interesting graph. Affordability seems to dominate the national press and local press. And in my mind, if houses aren't affordable, nobody would buy them. So we go back to February of this year and compare it to June. The blue line is the number of sold listings, and the red line is the PI. So in theory, if house prices were too high, and we've really had a stable interest rate environment during this time, so that doesn't really skew that. But you can see both those lines are going up. Now in June, they flattened out. Will that be a trend that, the spring buyers have the ability to pay prices, and maybe the June and the second and third quarter buyers do not? So we'll see if that continues. But I thought this was interesting in terms of the correlation between those two metrics. So let's wrap it up. Once again, end of the month inventory up 62%. That's a big number. It's down 42% compared to where we were in June of 2020 or June of 2010. Pending and sold listings during June were higher in our market than they were U.S. That's good. Months of housing supply still indicates an undersupplied market. The June days on market was well below the 15-year average. The resale house price metrics are higher than new, primarily because of the undersupply of resale listings. And if you look at the in-demand subdivisions within the triangle, those have all been built out for probably 10 to 20 years. And they're in premium locations, some of them surrounding golf courses, and you're not going to get any new homes on that. So in when those houses come on the market, they are bid up, and thus they are viewed with a premium compared to new homes in other parts of the triangle. And then down at the bottom, monthly PI and sales have increased each month since February. In my opinion, that means house prices are affordable for those who can. It doesn't mean they like them, but again, they are affordable for those who can. So that's all I've got this month. I certainly appreciate you hanging out with me. Here's information on this. You can go to www.toyreport.com. That's my contact information. If you like this video, please click the like button. Here are the services that I provide: appraisals, mortgage, relo, attorney, sellers, buyers, anybody that needs an unbiased opinion, third-party opinion of value, TOR Report, and consulting. So once again, thanks for hanging out with me, and we will see you next month.